Well, Sony somehow recovers from an awful weekend where nobody could access their PSN accounts because the servers were down, which everybody had horrible flashbacks from the before times. Also, Sony announced the state of play, and we're going to talk about that a little bit. Marvel Rivals has some major updates coming, and they walk back a pretty significant change. And let's kick things off with Overwatch. And we haven't talked about Overwatch 2 on this channel for a while, but hey, on January 29th, they posted groundbreaking PvP gameplay changes coming. Learn more on February 12th. At the time this video goes live on YouTube and Rumble, it will be February 12th. But right now it's February 11th. We've got this update here. It says Overwatch 2 Spotlight. Greetings, heroes, in 2025. Overwatch 2 is going to be packed with groundbreaking changes to the PvP experience. It'll be unlike anything you've seen before, but it's going to take more than a blog or developer update. I'm sorry, I lost my place. Blog or developer update to let you know what we have coming this year. So Wednesday, February 12th, tune into our YouTube and Twitch channels for a new live stream event, Overwatch 2 Spotlight. Not only are we looking at incredible changes, how the game is played, but you'll get a glance at new heroes, new maps, and even more content coming this February and beyond. So be sure to grab your favorite peanut butter flavored snack and tune in on Wednesday, February 12th, 10 a.m. Pacific time. It's like 8 my time. All right, we're not going to react to that live, but we'll talk about it tomorrow morning, I guess, on stream. Anyway, we're also inviting dozens of your favorite Overwatch 2 content creators to Blizzard Entertainment in Irvine for a unique chance to get hands-on and live stream the new gameplay you'll see in Overwatch 2 Spotlight. You'll also be able to pick up the Lucio Cyber DJ Legendary skin as an exclusive drop when you watch 1 hour of these creator streams. Be sure to link your Twitch or YouTube account, your Battle.net account, and then follow and tune in on their Twitch or YouTube channels. Stay tuned for when we announce who will be joining us. Who will, not we will, but who will. Man, who wrote this? For Overwatch 2 Spotlight. That's not even a sentence. I'm sorry. So yeah, I'm actually excited for this. I legitimately think this is just going to be the return of 6v6 and then new hero teases and stuff, because that's what Overwatch 2 now is. It's all about the new heroes and new maps. But hey, maybe they'll have some cool stuff in the works. 6v6 may not be the only thing. I just feel like Overwatch Classic did really well for them, and for them to not bring that back would be a dumb thing to do. Anyway, all right, let's move on. But I'm excited about Overwatch 2 stuff. Anyway, moving on. This came out. Patent shows Nintendo Switch 2 Joy-Con used as wireless mouse. So we kind of knew about this, right? Like, this was speculated, rumored, and then in the trailer, this little frame that we've got in the preview here, from the reveal, this was the Switch 2 Joy-Con being used as a mouse. Like, I don't know what else that could have signified, but it was a tease in the trailer. Recently discovered patent seems to explain the feature while also providing drawings of the mouse functionality. This is courtesy of Insider Gaming, by the way. According to the patent, the Joy-Con features a mouse operation sensor that detects reflected light on the detected surface that changes by moving on the detected surface with one of the first side surface and the second side surface placed on the detected surface. Man, that is some technical patent jargon, and I have no interest in continuing to read that. But the sensor's located under the side of the Joy-Con. Call out 170 in the images below. Based on the images, it appears the players will be able to use one Joy-Con as a mouse while using the other in a standard way. Both Joy-Cons, however, appear to have the mouse sensor feature. You can see the patent for drawings depicting the feature below. Click the image to enlarge. So that doesn't help much for anybody, but basically this little square squircle is a mouse sensor. I tried to hold one of my Joy-Cons like this, and it's like I could see this working in short bursts, but not for very long, unless the new Joy-Cons are a little bit thicker and more substantial. But it's going to be interesting. It kind of reminded me of those old laser presenter remotes that they used to like bundle with like projectors and stuff. It's kind of how it felt in the hand. But anyway, this patent came out. It was filed, I think, a couple years ago, maybe a year ago, but it just became public very recently. People are finally discovering it. And it's kind of it confirms what we thought the new Joy-Cons would do, is work as a mouse. But I think the patents are neat, and I was like looking at this kind of stuff because this gives us an idea for what Nintendo is intending. But I can't wait to see what they're going to enable with this. My first thoughts are games like Mario Paint could hit the eShop could hit Switch Online, Super Nintendo, and work very well, because this is just mouse emulation, and we've already mastered that with Nintendo Super Nintendo emulators anyway. So there you go. We'll see what comes of it in April. If they show any titles definitely utilizing the mouse mode, it could just be for navigation. I think, if I had to guess, I would like to see third-party devs, specifically first-person shooters and third-person shooters, utilize the mouse mode instead of stick aiming. And I'd like to know how that would work in like total. But combine like one half of the Joy-Con just for buttons, movement, triggers, whatever, and then the other one for aiming, and then there you go. You've got like a true like new way to play existing games, I think, without using like a cheat device or whatever. Anyway, let's move on. I thought this was cool. Steam will now warn you before you buy an abandoned game. Thanks to Insider Gaming for also writing this one up. Valve has released a new update to the Steam interface that'll offer users a prompt detailing how long it has been since an early access game was last updated. This new feature is designed to prevent gamers from investing in a game that might be abandoned, or from buying one that might not be accurately represented by what's detailed on the store page. It's not immediately obvious what the cutoff point is for this label to appear, as not every early access game has it. Most of them just have the typical breakdown that features an explanation from the developers as to why the game has been released in an early access state. Transparency update. One of the most heartbreaking revelations you can have as a gamer is investing in an early access game that has you excited, only to find that the developer hasn't touched it in years. And that's kind of the big thing. Like, you could go, hey, this looks really cool. Steam recommended this to me, or a friend recommended this to me, and it's been in early access. Hey, Base Guru. It's been in early access for, a couple years, but they're still updating it, so it's still worth playing. But then, like, you could get one that's early access, and it looks interesting, looks promising, but they're done. The studio ran out of money to, like, continue working on it, but they left the game up in early access or whatever. Since that's the case with early access games on Steam that remain in that state for a very long time after hitting the digital storefront, Valve's latest update challenges that notion, letting users know if it has been several months or more since the last major update to the game. This change was noticed and publicized on social media by SteamDB. For instance, Heartbound, which was released in 2018 and remains in early access, was updated over 13 months ago. The game was once taken positively by the PC gaming community, but the recent review rating has dropped to mostly negative because of the lack of updates. Another example is a game called Atlas, which sees players take on an ambitious pirating adventure across the high seas. It looks good enough at first blush, but it has mixed reviews overall, some 36,000 in total. It too was released in 2018, but hasn't been updated in more than 20 months. And here is an example of the update. Note the last update by the developers was made over 20 months ago. The information and timeline described by the developers here may no longer be up to date. Brilliant change, guys. Brilliant change. Many early access games graduate from that state, becoming a full release title that launches with a 1.0 version that's often bursting with improvements and features. One great example is Sons of the Forest, which was released in early access in February 2023, graduating to a full release 1 year later and succeeding all over again. It says a nice move by Valve. What do you think? Here's what I think. This is absolutely necessary because I'm sure they were getting tons of refund requests and negative review bombing from games just not updating. So if they just warn you ahead of time, it's like, hey, no big deal. Like, it's in early access. It hasn't been updated. You take on the risk buying it, but we just gonna let you know, like, hey, it seems like this might be abandoned, or you're not guaranteed any updates. Seems fair. But good on Steam for doing that. And speaking of Steam games that force players to watch ads are banned, Valve emphasizes. This is on Eurogamer. Not supported. Developers should not utilize paid advertising as a business model in their games, such as requiring players to watch or otherwise engage with ads in order to play, or gating gameplay behind advertising. If your game's business model relies on advertising on other platforms, you will need to remove those elements before shipping on Steam. Some options you could consider include switching to a single purchase paid app, or making your game free to play with optional upgrades sold via microtransactions or downloadable content. Developers should not use advertising as a way to provide value to players, such as giving players a reward for watching or engaging with advertising in their game. Developers should not charge other developers for access to Steam features. These include sale pages, bundles, store pages, franchise pages, etc. This whole ad statement, though, is awesome. Let's check the article. What does Vicky Blake have to say? Valve has emphasized its rules around advertising, explicitly prohibiting games that force players to watch in-game ads. Newly re-emphasized rules from Valve, first reported by Gaming on Linux, confirm that whilst cross-promotion and product placement are permitted, games that force players to watch or engage with advertising in order to play are not. A previous version of this article reflected the source's report that these rules were all new, when in fact Valve has now re-emphasized the rules by creating a new section of its terms. Well, Valve has always been good then, I guess. I don't know. Nor should developers use advertising as a way to provide value to players, such as giving players a reward for watching or engaging with advertising in their game. We just read that. I like this statement, though. Hey, if you're... Hold on. This is just intrusive, Eurogamer. No. Go away. Go away, top bar. Go away. I can't make this go... All right, we're done. All right, sorry. Technical difficulties. If your game's business model relies on advertising on other platforms, you'll need to remove those elements before shipping on Steam. And then some options you could consider include switching to a single purchase paid app, making... we read all that. I suspect most of us would associate this kind of behavior with mobile games more than those available on Steam. Valve clearly thought it necessary to clarify in clear English what is and is not supported on Steam. Developers are also not allowed to charge other developers for access to Steam features, such as sale pages, bundles, storefronts, or franchise pages, which I'd imagine that's happened. That's why they have the rule, or they could see it happening. Last week, Valve quietly implemented a useful new Steam feature, warning users of potential purchase how long it's been since the early access game last received an update. Yeah, we just read that. We just learned about that. But anyway, I really wish all the app stores would take note of this policy, because I'm sure that those free-to-play games where you got to watch an ad to play the next level do really well for the developers, but it's sure annoying to try to hey, this game looks fun. I've got to watch 17 commercials so I can play the game. Yeah, I don't want to do that. Anyway, good on Valve for clarifying that and making sure people know that, hey, you're not running ads in your games to make money on Steam. We will not have it. I appreciate that. Good guy, Valve. All right, let's move on. All right, so let's talk about the big topic here. PlayStation Network was out over the weekend, nearly 24 hours. Sony apologizes for global outage that took PlayStation Network offline for nearly 24 hours. 5 days additional time has been added to all PS Plus subscribers impacted by the outage. 5 whole days, guys. Anyway, Sony's apologized to players. This is, again, Vicky Blake, and this is Games Industry Biz. So, okay. GamesIndustry.biz, I should say. Anyway, Sony has apologized to players after PlayStation Network was taken offline for almost a full 24 hours over the weekend. While Sony has not revealed the cause of the problem, it only cited an operational issue when confirming the issue was resolved yesterday, February 10th. The global outage impacted almost all areas of PlayStation services, including account management, online play, PlayStation Video, the PlayStation Store, and PlayStation Direct. Some PS5 owners also reported issues whilst playing offline, as the ability to check game permissions and licenses was similarly compromised during the outage. The downtime has also impacted Capcom's Monster Hunter Wilds limited time open playtest, which ran the same weekend. The publisher/developer has now confirmed the 2nd of February's playtest will run an extra day. That's nice. Sony's offered 5 additional days to all existing PS Plus subscribers affected by the downtime. However, this will not reach everyone impacted by the outage, as players of free-to-play games like Fortnite and Roblox do not require a PlayStation Plus subscription to get online. Yeah, I saw some people talking about Marvel Rivals and everything else, And it was a weird time. I was getting a lot of texts from people. It was like, hey, why do you think it's down? Like, I would know. But all I had seen is everybody complaining that it was down, like on social media. Sony being like dead silent about it. We still don't really know what happened. You know, it's just a technical issue, clearly. But they're not going to talk about it. Somebody pushed an update that broke something. I would bet, but who knows? Maybe a certificate expired. Maybe you know, somebody spilled coffee. I really don't know. It's just wild. You'd think Sony would be extra cautious after what happened with the PS3 back in the day when you couldn't get on PS Plus or PlayStation Network for 3 months. You know, it was my text. It wasn't just you though. I had people on Discord asking me. I was just like, okay, like that's wild. People are just like, have you seen? I'm like, yeah, sure. It's terrible. But you know, that's why I play on Xbox. No, I'm just kidding. It kind of stunk because like my wife really likes playing Honkai Star Rail. Has not been able to play Star Rail. Was not able to play Star Rail over the weekend because of the outage and the little bit of downtime we had this past weekend. And so yeah, it's wild. It's wild because a lot of people game on weekends and then you can't play, and it's like, well, that is not fair. But okay, we can't do anything about it. But anyway, long live physical media, I guess. Moving on. Let's continue talking about Sony. To make up for it, they announced a state of play February 12th at 2 p.m. Pacific time. I should be available to react to this. 5 p.m. Eastern, that's 4 p.m. Central Time. I should be able to do a live react to this. Don't know what to expect. I've seen people talk about it being a 40-minute presentation. I don't expect a ton of new reveals. I think we're gonna get some dates for like Metal Gear Solid, Delta, Snake Eater, the remake, and stuff that we've seen but did not have a concrete date for yet. That'll be coming soon. So super cool. I'm looking forward to seeing it. I really don't know what to expect. I don't know. Maybe Ghost of Yotei, Synth Potato talks about it down here. Maybe Wolverine gets shown, teased, something. Maybe some DLC for Spider-Man 2 that wasn't in the works gets announced. I really don't know. I truly don't know what to expect, but I'm excited to see it either way. New game reveals are usually fun. New trailers and release dates are also fun. So we'll get into it tomorrow, or today if you're watching this on Wednesday, or in the future. We already watched it. There's a reaction stream up. Hopefully I was able to commit to that. Anyway, let's move on. Speaking of PlayStation, Hellblade 2 could be released for PS5 pretty soon, exclaimed. Ninja Theory's Hellblade 2 is reportedly coming to PS5. So before I go into this article, let's talk about Hellblade 1. The original Hellblade was originally a multi-platform or PlayStation launch exclusive. I don't remember, but Microsoft bought Ninja Theory, and then it was like, all right, but Hellblade 2 is going to be exclusive. But now Microsoft has pivoted. So it's like, well, look how the turntables, you know, it's like, good Lord, this whole industry is just wonky and weird. But anyway, Microsoft is reportedly bringing Hellblade 2 to PlayStation 5, and it could do so sooner rather than later. Maybe tomorrow we'll learn this. That's according to Windows Central executive editor Jez Corden, who mentioned Microsoft's plans for Ninja Theory's game on X on Tuesday. Sony today announced plans to hold a 40-minute state of play presentation, which will focus on upcoming PS5 games. Hellblade 2 time, maybe? Corden wrote in response to the state of play news. On the subject of whether the game will be released for Sony's console at some point, he added, not if, when. And when is pretty soon from what I've been hearing. Xbox announced last February plans to bring... Okay, so it's just recapping. And then we got, you know, just on top of the stuff that came out last year, Doom the Dark Ages is coming to PS5. Indiana Jones is coming to PS5. Forza Horizon 5 is coming to PS5. Basically, the PS5 is now an Xbox. How does that make you feel, PlayStation fans? So, you know, it makes sense, though. The game underperformed when it launched on Series X and S. They really were hoping it would do better. I think this will give it a chance to succeed even more so than it hasn't, if that makes any sense. That's a weird statement. Let's just move past that. Let's move on. All right, I saw this. According to Nate the Hate, Final Fantasy 16 will be announced / released on Xbox shortly, not in the near future, but by around the mid first half of 2025, around spring. FF7 Remake is scheduled for later this year, and FF Rebirth for 2026. Final Fantasy 16 is not presently planned for Switch 2. The decision was taken to prioritize the FF7 Remake and Rebirth ports, I assume is there. So that's cool. I've seen a lot of people talk about this. Nate the Hate has been getting a lot of info right lately. I don't know what the guy does. I mean, for being the Hate, he sure brings a lot of excitement to the industry. So good job, Nate the Hate, on knowing a lot of things that a lot of us wish we knew. But I would be excited for this just because I've waited so long to play both Final Fantasy VII Remake and Rebirth, but 16 also looks pretty good, so it launching on Xbox would be amazing. I feel like these will be digital only. I don't know if we would get physical copies of any of these on the Xbox. Now, Switch 2, sure, we'll probably get physical copies of whatever Square puts out, probably with some cool artwork and cases and pre-order bonuses. I don't know. I just feel like Xbox has gotten really, like, ignored mostly, and then when Square does release it, it's like, it's digital only, good luck. And it's like, okay, I guess I have to buy it digital if I want it on Xbox. But I would be excited. I'm excited for this. Xbox fans, and myself included, have been waiting for this remake and Final Fantasy 16 to hit Xbox ever since they've both been announced. So there you go. Well, maybe we'll see something soon. I hope so. I really hope so. All right, let's move on, because I hate talking about rumors. Eurogamer, Marvel Rivals U-turns on plan to reset player ranks mid-season. Here's the thing. Here's the thing. Anyway, Marvel Rivals has quickly U-turned on plans to reset player ranks twice per season after an outburst of fan feedback against the idea. Developer NetEase last night announced it would implement a mid-season rank reset to shake up the battlefield on February 21st. Alongside this, the addition of Fantastic Four members The Thing and Human Torch were also confirmed, completing the superhero family's addition to Marvel Rivals roster, and tying in nicely with Marvel's newly released trailer for the Pedro Pascal starring reboot, which actually looks kind of good. I don't know how I feel about it, really. Marvel MCU has been kind of lackluster, so maybe this will help bring it back. That's not why we're here. Not movie news. We're game news. Feedback to the sudden reveal of mid-season rank reset was swift and decidedly negative. And this is a good case of where cyberbullying makes sense. It's like Sonic. When the Sonic movie was shown, we didn't like how Sonic looked. So collectively, the internet cyberbullied Paramount and the director and everybody involved in the Sonic movie and said, you better change it, because this is gross. This is how this feels. Somebody posted, this is an extremely demotivating idea to rank reset every 45 days. The game is not a battle royale. No rank resets, wrote another. It's not a fun and engaging mechanic to stop. It's not a fun and engaging mechanic. Stop resetting the ranks. I will stop playing this bleeping game if you use this cheap tactic to grip players. Roughly 12 hours later, NetEase has this morning issued a fresh update confirming that the mid-season ranked reset has been scrapped. A common concern, they go on to say, was the pressure associated with having a rank reset every half season, which has made participating in the competitive mode less enjoyable. In light of the community's input, we've decided to make some changes. When the second half of the season begins, there will be no rank reset. Players retain their ranks and scores from the end of the first half. To earn new rewards, players simply need to complete 10 matches in competitive mode and meet the relevant conditions by the end of the season. And so somebody said, a dev team that makes adjustments almost immediately, unlike my teammates. Dang, roasted. All right. Anyway, Marvel Rivals debuted last year. Okay, anyway, cool to see a quick turnaround on feedback, though. I've always felt like Apex does this with a mid-season rank reset. I hate it. I don't like it. I don't like putting in work to get a rank when I have time. And then, because I maybe didn't have time for the second half of the season, I started completely over and don't get any of the rewards that are seasonal anyway. You know, it's a weird time. And plus, they're trying to hit that FOMO feeling that if I don't play, I'm going to miss something feeling. No, forget that. Just let the ranks go for the full season and reset them every season. Come on. At least let that be. And I'm glad they did it here. NetEase, good on you. All right, let's move on. maybe. All right, I thought this was interesting. It's a topic that has come up in conversation with me and some of my gamer friends, which is just my friends. All my friends, most of them are gamers. Anyway, I wish games still had interesting companion apps. From Grant Taylor Hill on Insider Gaming. He talks about, I had a burst of nostalgia the other day. I was playing Dying Light to celebrate the game's 10th anniversary, and my mind flicked back to when the game was fresh on the market. One of my fondest memories of Dying Light is the game's super helpful companion app, which allowed users to send scouts on virtual missions, which they'd claim rewards for later when they played the base game. It had a few more features beside that, and it was a neat way to stay connected, still experience Dying Light's universe on the go, and earn rewards without touching the game itself. It was discontinued a couple of years ago, but playing Dying Light got me thinking about the best companion apps for games that have long since disappeared. And he goes on to talk about it's not just stat trackers, because every service competitive game has those. But he said, I miss when the companion app felt like games themselves, miniature versions of a top tier title that would allow you to truly stay connected long after you'd logged off. Dying Light's companion app was a perfect example of this. Players could utilize the app to run missions, arrange scouts to travel to the most dangerous parts of the game's world, and progress through a chain of missions with progressively better rewards. They need to make sure they were picking the right runner for the job, and the rewards they scavenge could be collected later in the game. Which I like that. I like that the mobile game had an effect on the full game, which is super cool. Anyway, Assassin's Creed Black Flag had a similar mechanic. The companion app for Black Flag was stellar, allowing users to control a full-fledged fleet of ships, sending them around the world on a multitude of missions. It was discontinued in 2015, but while it was online, it offered another angle to experience the pirating adventures found at the heart of this monumental Assassin's Creed title. As inherently linked to the game too, as you played Black Flag and added ships to your fleet, you could command those ships in real time through the companion app. Then you could log into the game later and reap the rewards of those missions. I text about GTA, and so my point in even covering this was I do kind of miss this. I miss when I think Xbox had tried to do it with the Xbox One. They had a support built in for some games to track achievements and stuff, and they, a bunch of devs tried to implement a mobile app. Call of Duty did something, I believe you could fool with your loadouts and stuff. Destiny 2 used to have that. I don't know what they still do. They might. Again, my point being was I kind of miss the kind of extended functionality. I didn't need a separate game that was its own separate experience. I wanted something that tied back to the main experience, and I thought that was kind of cool. It was a neat little article to cover it. The Assassin's Creed one I never got because I didn't play Black Flag until well after this had been retired. But if I had, I would have used this a ton to rack up resources and stuff. And you can tell in how the ship missions are built out that there was definitely an additional component to it. And so I think it's super cool of them to have done. Anyway, that's what we'll do. We'll call the game news there. That's it. Thanks for hanging out, guys. I'm done. That's it. That's all I got. Kind of a slow week. Excited for the state of play. There'll be a lot to talk about tomorrow. The Overwatch news tomorrow as well. I'm pretty sure it's going to be 6v6 is back, and that's going to do it. Anyway, thanks for checking out the video. If you stuck around this long and you're watching on YouTube, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, hit the dislike button. Do the things. I don't know. I appreciate it. I'm going to play Pokemon Unite now. See you later. Bye.